Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star Atlas Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 109. Any articles or videos mentioned can be found on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Just look for news recap number 156. So just a quick summary of kind of the content or things that came out from Star Atlas this past week. Actually, there was a lot. Beyond the Horizon did a couple of great video updates I'll talk briefly about. The Atlas Brew occurred, which was about the new Unreal Engine 5 patch. And then the DAO Council action started. But before I get to that, just a couple of things about things I'm working on in Star Atlas. First is my Star Atlas proposal called a PIP for an in-person community meetup platform. It is in the draft state, so it's open for public comment. If you go to Star Atlas Discord, look for DAO, look for draft PIPs, you'll find posts there with my name and in-person community meetup platform. Love to get any feedback. If you have the time to read it and then give me some feedback, greatly appreciate it. Also, I have two other Star Atlas projects I'm working on. One is my Star Atlas merch store called Intergalactic Gear, and it's found at intergalacticgear.com. Open for business, selling a few mugs, trying to get some more wall art up, but hasn't changed much. And again, if you listen to this podcast, you know I constantly say I'm going to work on it, but I never do. Anyways, the other project I have is called Intergalactic Coalition, also at intergalacticcoalition.com. It is what I've called in the past a non-guild guild, so a place for Star Atlas gamers to hang out that don't want to join guilds, maybe want a different experience in Star Atlas Discord, i.e. not so much about chat, but more about discussions and things like that. And actually, one reason I'm not going to work on my merch store this weekend is I actually had some new ideas for it. So I hope to kind of brainstorm internally and kind of flesh out some more ideas for what I think might be an interesting community for people. But if you're interested in maybe hearing what I'll say eventually, please go to Intergalactic Coalition, and there's an interest survey there where you can sign up and can show interest. So appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the kind of content of what happened in Star Atlas this past week. As I mentioned, Beyond the Horizon produced a couple videos. He continued in his Zero to Hero series of kind of how to start playing Star Atlas Sage Starbased. So that was great. And then he did one of his kind of recap videos where he kind of finds a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on in the community. One thing that he does that I can't figure out how to replicate is he finds everything on Twitter. I subscribe to people. They show up in my feed. I don't know. I just can't seem to always find the news that he always seems to pull out. So I really appreciate that. Some people in the past ask, about making my news recap actually have some Twitter stuff. And I guess I could, but again, part of it is I never feel like I'm actually finding the right information to share with you guys. So really appreciate there are other content creators that can kind of fill that in. And of course, he has a video. I do link that in my newsletter, which you can find on my website, intergalacticherald.com, news recap number 157. So in that sense, I find out what's on Twitter because he does it. Next content was the Atlas Brew. Again, as is tradition, they have their weekly Atlas Brew, the community team does. This one was kind of a something I guess feels kind of new. They launched the latest patch to the UE5 version of the game, and I've got to figure out everyone's names. It's this kind of the difference between names and then screen names. But anyways, I think the game director, I think that's his title. Plus, I got to figure out titles. Anyways, Chipto was on there kind of talking about it, and they, again, went through a list, which I believe, I'm not sure which day, but it's in my news recap. Star Atlas team did a Medium article of everything that was updated in the patch. So they kind of, I think, went through that list before it was published. Maybe it was published at the same time. And then actually did some live demos from the latest version. So you could actually hear what it was and see it. So that kind of builds on what was teased the week before. So again, kind of continuation of that. So that was really great to see. And then in the Star Atlas Discord, they did announce that it's the DAO Council elections starting, but I'm not sure they're technically open yet, but the nomination process ended and candidates were announced. So candidates are there. We're just waiting for the elections, which I believe are 14 days. Anyways, check out the Star Atlas Discord. Again, didn't provide a link for that. So anyway, so in some senses, a quiet week on volume content, but if you look at quality, quantifying content, I'm not sure. The fact that the UE5 was patched is a big deal, which I'll get into next. So kind of do the last two sections, my kind of thoughts on the state of Star Atlas, kind of at the moment, obviously what's changed in the last week, and then I'll kind of talk about my journey playing. So yeah, the big thing was the UE5 update, and I don't know, still feel like we should have a different name for that, but I guess it's still technically the showroom. So yeah, they released it live there, so if you have a Windows machine, gaming machine capable of running Unreal Engine 5, you should be able to download that version. I guess I haven't never mentioned this before, but if you need a key to play it on the Epic Store, if you go into the Star Atlas Discord, there is some sort of command you type in, but if you go, I think just to either there's a channel for key requests, I can't remember, but if you ask in the general one of the mods will definitely point you in the right direction. But there may actually be a channel now I think about it. But anyways, that's how you can get your key to install it via the Epic Game Store. But one thing they did mention during the presentation, so they went through pretty much just kind of what was changing, but also showing it, giving a little bit of leaks to different things that are changing and hints that might be coming later, like with lore. The fact that they released one every month, and I'm pretty sure Chipdo mentioned that the goal, not a promise, but a goal was to do it monthly, except when they want to do a big release, and then they might hold some stuff back. So that cadence, I think, is really cool, especially at this kind of stage in the development of Star Atlas, in particular the Unreal Engine 5 version of the game, since the browser version Sage has been out for a while now, definitely quote-unquote playable if you're interested in getting into the economic parts of Star Atlas. It is getting improvements such as the most recent fleet rentals, and before that, the local markets. So I think to finally start seeing the UE5 version of the game getting some public availability and on a more regular basis, even if the features are truly for just feedback from the community, I think is really cool at this stage in the entire development of Star Atlas. So that part is really interesting to see how the rest of the year progresses as they move forward to, again, we don't have any official release dates or anything, but it feels like they're trying to come up with something on the really Unreal Engine side that by the end of the year is hopefully something similar to Sage where it's done. I mean, it's a done product and has some sort of engagement on a daily basis, where definitely in the current version there is some community members are getting together to create tournaments, especially on the weekends, but I still think there's a lot of things on the multiplayer aspect, matchmaking, things like that aren't there yet. So yeah, we'll really again at the end, it's really cool just to, hey, there's a new version. So I downloaded it. Maybe I'll start it this afternoon. I don't know. We'll see. I'm recording this on a Saturday. So, and then that again kind of is more of the kind of traditional updates. If you listen to my podcast, I kind of do on a weekly basis. But I decided, since a very light amount, and again, it wasn't that the launch wasn't cool, but it kind of was kind of going over the same things they had kind of alluded to the week before. So in that sense, it was different that we could see the live demo, or actually, I guess we saw the demo too. It doesn't matter. But again, it's kind of just reinforcing it. I did want to talk about two other things related to kind of Star Atlas. And one is the DAO Council elections. It's happening. But more than talking about the council, which I think there'll be some Atlas brews where the candidates get a chance to speak, or hope they do, I kind of just wanted to talk about the DAO in general and more just raising awareness. So I've mentioned the last few podcasts that I created a proposal, but I realized that maybe people haven't even been engaged in the DAO. And I bring that up because there is a section in the Star Atlas Discord for DAO conversations, and so you have to go someplace else. And if you're, not hanging out in Discord a lot, you might not even know it's there. So one, I just wanted to mention, hey, it's there. So again, there is a section somewhere in there called DAO, and then it has different things. The main kind of conversational one, I think, is DAO chat. So that's where people are chatting, kind of like the general chat about the DAO. So that's a good place if you want to just get the pulse and what's going on currently. But then there are other channels that are part of basically the PIP process, which again is a way to suggest something that wants to get changed. Again, it's very specific at this point, things that can be changed or requests for changes. Definitely game design is not part of it, but there was a proposal passed to create an ecosystem fund. Technically, it's PIP number 4 if you want to go read it. And I think if you go to the website where you normally start up different Star Atlas, StainstillStarAtlas.com, and you go into play, one of the icons will be DAO. And if you go to there, then you can click on DAO proposals, Yeah, and you could see the ones that are passed or the ones that are being voted on. And so one that passed had something called the Ecosystem Fund, and it was a amount of money, or I should say money, it was a number of tokens, Atlas tokens, that were set aside to have people in the community present ideas to use those funds to, I think the way I keep phrasing it, and it was in there, is to create new Star Atlas experiences. So that's very broad, could mean a lot of different things. I chose to interpret it as a way to create a meetup platform for the community. And anyway, so check it out. There's links to some of the things that the council's done, like announcements. So it talks about what they've done in the past. There's a link somewhere that goes off to the council's kind of website, knowledge base, I think they're calling it. So again, admit you have to kind of click around and figure some things out, but that's more of just a function of how the DAO is structured at the present time. It's sort of in Discord. They're trying to get other resources, but it's definitely the place to interact with the council, who helps with helping people who want to present an idea, refine it. And there's a whole governance process, which again is on the DAO's knowledge base. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of highlight that because I haven't really mentioned in the past. The most current thing, if you're not interested in the proposals, is you can, again, take a look at the DAO Council elections, learn more about the council itself, who or what people on the council do. And if you, again, hold Polis, if you own Polis and then you have staked it in the Polis locker, that gives you voting rights in the DAO. So any of those proposals, whether they're for governance topics on how the DAO runs, or again, if they're for creating projects like what I'm looking at, or if they're for the elections, those are all able to be voted on by the community who owns Polis, who has locked it. So again, just want to maybe everybody listening to this already knows all that stuff, but I thought I would mention that as I'm filling up a little bit of time. So again, check all that out. Right now, again, council elections, and hopefully soon, maybe my proposal will go up for a vote. So, and then the third thing I wanted to kind of, I guess, indirectly tease, but also just mention it exists, but it's a private Discord, so I won't get into the details, is a group has aligned itself together. I think they posted on Twitter, so that's why I feel like I can only say it exists, which is called the Galia Business Association, GBA. So I was recently invited to it, so I appreciate that. And it's basically different businesses, air quotes around businesses, that are kind of trying to do different things within Star Atlas. So they could be people who are part of the Star Atlas IP Builder program. So they're using the IP to create different things, in this case, businesses. So i.e. like my merch store. And there's other people in there that are doing that. I mentioned Galia Merchants, who is another merch store. There are other similar things. So like Dark Core Roasters, who sells Star Atlas branded coffee, is a member. And I'm just got invited in, so I'm still trying to get my feet under me and what the goal is. But it's again business association. So hopefully there'll be some public outreach and more information. I think again partly like many things in Star Atlas, it's just kind of being developed. But there's a Discord. But again, kind of application process. But they do have an application. So again, if you're not there, don't know where the application is, hey, reach out to me. I think I could probably find the link, or maybe there's a way to sponsor. Somebody kind of indirectly sponsored me, so I appreciate that. I guess I should call it out. Falcor mentioned me, so I do appreciate that. But anyway, but again, just kind of stuff going on in Star Atlas, the broader ecosystem that maybe people weren't aware of. And so, yeah, there's some things, so again, people are probably aware of the guilds, and there's a Star Atlas channel to look at all the guilds. I do have a guild database on my website that I was kind of took over for someone else. I admit it's a little outdated, but again, it's kind of the nature of the Star Atlas ecosystem right now. But, so guilds exist, but just kind of want to mention that this business association is out there, starting to get formed, and hopefully hear more from them about different things. But yeah, I just wanted to call out at least off the top of my head, and I apologize for any other business association members I didn't think of off the top of my head, but I think more of the different groups that actually are kind of e-commerce based. So Galia Merchants, Dark Core Roasters. Oh, obviously Galia ArtStation. Oh, sorry, I forgot. But yeah, selling posters and things like that. Galia Meta Galia. Ooh. I'm feeling bad. I should put a list together. Or again, we should have a list of all our businesses so everybody can find it that way. Oh, but actually, if you go on Intergalactic Herald and you go to my directories, there's definitely a list there. And in fact, I'm going to, because I feel bad that I'm a terrible cross-promoter of my fellow businesses, I am going to bring up my website as I'm talking, and go through some of them because I feel like I totally dropped the ball by not having them off the top of my head. So anyway, so yes, if you go to, there we go. So if you go to my website, Intergalactic Herald, go to the Star Atlas directories, go to Star Atlas Builders. Merch stores are there. So of course I put mine at the top, but Gallia Merchants, I don't have a link. Should probably link. I don't know why I don't have a link. Anyways, Gallia Art Station. That's what I totally forgot. Why don't I have a link to them? I'm feeling really bad here. No. See, everybody's using Gallia. Anyways, the one I wanted to say was Gallia Meta Solutions. I am so sorry, Falcor. They are the art e-commerce store at GalliaMeta.io. Gallia Meta Solutions, GalliaMeta.io. Anyways, so they create great high-quality wall art and stuff like that. But theirs is unique. Some of them are their own photographer or the other photographers within the metaverse, the ecosystem, so you can get them different things. The wall art I'm trying to do on my merch store is based off of the Star Atlas posters series. So actually, just kind of slow down and do that. So merch stores, again, myself, Intergalactic Herald, Gallia Merchants is another one. I will totally admit they have a much better selection than I do. Star Atlassian, I think they disappeared. Gallia Art Station, they seemed... Star Atlassian, yes. Enigma 42. He does the most awesome 3D models out there. So that's definitely, if you're interested in 3D models of the Star Atlas ships. I remember he was on a Metaverse Nomad show where he explained what he was doing, and I was just blown away. Side hobby of 3D printing myself. So Gallia Meta Solutions, definitely the photography. And then, Dark Cross Roosters, I got it. And, Iris Supplies. Can't remember about them. Anyways, so at least those are the ones I had on my IP builder list, and that feels like a much better list, though I need to double check. I should be updating this if some other people are there. But anyways, so that's a place to check it out, and hopefully at some point the Gallia Business Association will have some public resources available out there. So just, again, promoting my fellow businesses. Anyway, so that's pretty much it on the state of Star Atlas. So last thing I wanted to talk about just is my journey. Where we left off, I had taken my ships finally completely out of Faction Fleet, moved them all into Sage Starbase, started mining carbon because I need a whole lot more carbon to get my Mamba X, and ran out of resources, so then turned into a transport fleet to move that out. I think I decided to move out 1 million ammo and 1 million food. Should have brought more fuel, but turns out the local markets are a lifesaver, so I bought enough fuel. Forgot that some mining takes a little fuel to get going. So my fleet now is out there mining. I'm going to use up all the 1 million, either ammo or food, whichever one goes first, and then see kind of how much carbon, but regardless, probably go back and get some more and kind of keep that going until I get whatever, I think it's 72 million or 75 million carbon that I need on the recipe or the crafting I don't know, whatever you need to do to do junk in Starbase. But I still intend, and if you've listened for a while, I know I keep saying it, I want to do a little more research in local markets to see if it makes more sense to buy locally than to transport things. And still need to figure out, though I'm pretty sure it's a no-brainer, that I should be taking the resources like toolkits that I get from my claim stakes and just selling them on the marketplace and converting to Atlas, and then use that Atlas to offset buying ammo or food or something like that. So slowly plugging away. I do have to say, I think I'm a couple weeks into this, definitely adding the extra cargo capacity has increased the rate of output for mining, or just say output of number of carbon, the goal. So yeah, the more storage, better. So maybe I should have done that a long time ago, but oh well. It's a game. I'm not supposed to have too much stress over it. So anyways, that's what I'm kind of doing. So to kind of wrap up, thanks for listening. Again, definitely open to anybody who wants to be a guest on the podcast. So that could be a Talk About the Week in Review. Again, maybe I should have the other IP builders on, and any other content creators who just want to chat. And anybody on the Star Atlas team who wants to talk general stuff, don't need alpha, just want to talk to beginners and things like that, please reach out, intergalacticherald.com, and go to my contact page, or you can just email me at info@intergalacticherald.com, or I think my name works too, Matt. And then just, again, promoting my own 2 businesses, intergalacticgear.com for merch, mugs, a few pieces of wall art based on the Star Atlas and NFT posters. Also a merch survey. Love to get any more feedback on other merch. And then intergalacticcoalition.com, hoping to be a community for Star Atlas gamers to hang out, chat, learn some stuff. Will be a paid community, partly offset the cost of the software I want to use. So please check out intergalacticcoalition.com, and there's an interest survey there. And depending on how that project goes this weekend, maybe I'll have some more information, but probably won't post it right away anyways. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a great week ahead. This is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald.